The air in my office felt different that Tuesday morning. I remember because I'd just poured my second cup of coffee, the steam curling up past the window where I usually watched the neighborhood wake up. Maple Street in Westerville, Ohio. 42 years I'd lived in this house, raised my son here, buried my wife here 3 years back. The phone rang at 8:37. I know because I glanced at the clock, annoyed at the interruption. I'd been reading about fertilizer options for the spring garden. Mr. Williams? Robert Williams? The voice was professional but tight, strained. Speaking. This is Mitchell Pearson. I'm the senior financial advisor at Cornerstone Wealth Management. We need to talk about your accounts. Immediately. And Mr. Williams, I need you to not mention this call to anyone, especially not to your son. I set down my coffee cup. Something in his tone made my hand steady itself against the desk. What's wrong? I can't discuss this over the phone. But I've been reviewing your portfolio as part of our annual audit, and I've found irregularities, serious ones. Can you come to my office this morning? I've cleared my schedule. Irregularities? What kind of irregularities? The kind that made me call our legal department before calling you, Mr. Williams. Please, come in as soon as you can. And again, don't discuss this with anyone until we talk. I agreed. What else could I do? I remember hanging up and staring at that coffee cup for a long minute, watching the steam dissipate into nothing. The drive to Cornerstone took 20 minutes. I'd been banking there for 15 years. Solid place. Trusted them. Mitchell Pearson's office was on the 3rd floor, corner view overlooking the parking lot. He stood when I entered, and I saw immediately that this man hadn't slept well. Mr. Williams, thank you for coming. He gestured to a chair across from his desk, where several manila folders lay spread out like evidence at a crime scene. I'm going to be direct with you because there's no easy way to say this. Someone has been systematically withdrawing funds from your retirement accounts. Large amounts. Over the past 8 months. The room tilted slightly. I gripped the chair arms. That's impossible. I haven't authorized any withdrawals. I check my statements every month. Do you? His eyes met mine. When was the last time you actually looked at a detailed statement? I opened my mouth, closed it. David had suggested, about 9 months ago, that I switch to electronic statements. Paperless. Better for the environment, he'd said. Easier to manage. He'd even helped me set it up, sitting right at my kitchen table with his laptop, showing me how to access everything online. My son set up online access for me. He said I could check everything there. Mitchell Pearson's jaw tightened. Mr. Williams, who has access to your accounts? Just me. And David, my son. But only because he helps me manage things. He's got power of attorney for financial matters. We set that up after his mother died. In case something happened to me, you know? Someone needed to be able to handle things. The financial advisor pulled out a document, slid it across the desk. These are withdrawal records, $340,000. Moved out in increments over 8 months. The transfers were authorized using your online credentials. The numbers swam before my eyes. $340,000. But I didn't. I never. No, sir. I don't believe you did. He pulled out another document. There's more. Someone took out a life insurance policy on you. $500,000. The premiums are being paid from one of your accounts. You're the insured. Your son is listed as the beneficiary. I couldn't breathe. The office suddenly felt too small, too warm. When? The policy was initiated 7 months ago. 7 months. Right around the time David and his wife Christine had started visiting more often. I'd been so pleased. After Sarah died, I'd felt the loneliness creeping in like frost. Having David stop by twice a week, sometimes 3 times, had felt like a blessing. He'd bring dinner, we'd watch baseball, talk about his work at the software company. Christine would chat about their plans, their dreams. They wanted children, she'd said. They were saving up, maybe in a year or 2. Mr. Williams, I need to ask you some questions, and I need you to be completely honest with me. Has your son asked you to sign any documents recently? Anything that might have looked like routine financial paperwork? I thought back. There had been papers, several times. David would bring them by, spread them on the kitchen counter. Just some account updates, Dad. Regulations changed. Bank needs new signatures. I'd signed them, trusted him. Why wouldn't I? Yes, several times. Mitchell Pearson's expression confirmed my worst fear. Those weren't account updates. Those were authorization forms, withdrawal permissions, the life insurance application. He paused. Mr. Williams, I'm not a lawyer, but what's happened here appears to be financial fraud, possibly elder abuse. I've documented everything. Before you leave today, I'm going to recommend you speak with both a lawyer and the police. The word fraud hung in the air like smoke. My son, David, the boy I'd taught to ride a bike, put through college, helped with his first car payment when money was tight. The man who'd held my hand at Sarah's funeral and promised me I'd never be alone. I don't understand. David makes good money. He's got a solid job. Why would he? I can't answer that, Mr. Williams. But I can tell you this. Your account currently holds $312,000. You started with $652,000. You've lost more than half your retirement savings. I'd worked 40 years at that manufacturing plant. 40 years. Plant manager the last 15. I'd been careful, saved every month, lived below my means so I'd have security in my old age, so I wouldn't be a burden on anyone. And now, what do I do? Mitchell Pearson leaned forward. First, we freeze all accounts, change all passwords, revoke the power of attorney. Then you need legal representation. And Mr. Williams, I know this is your son, but you need to understand something. The life insurance policy, combined with the systematic withdrawals, presents a concerning pattern. I'd recommend you also think about your safety. My safety? $500,000 is a lot of money. The implication settled over me like a shroud. I thought about my heart medication, the pills I took every morning. David had helped me set up a pill organizer just last month. I thought about the stairs in my house, how I'd started feeling dizzy lately. David had noticed. Suggested I might want to see a doctor. Oh God, I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, but we need to act quickly. I called a lawyer from Mitchell's office. James Brennan, a name he'd recommended. Brennan could see me that afternoon. I spent the next 3 hours in a conference room at Brennan's office, going through everything: bank statements, withdrawal records, the life insurance policy, authorization forms with my signature. But I barely remembered signing half of them. This is prosecutable fraud, Brennan said. His tone was matter of fact, neither sympathetic nor cold, just stating facts. The question is whether you want to pursue criminal charges against your son. I don't know. I need time to think. Mr. Williams, time isn't something you have. If what you're telling me about the dizziness is true, if there's any chance... He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. What do I do? Right now, today. You go home. Act normal. Don't confront him. Don't let on that you know anything. I'm going to prepare an emergency motion to freeze assets and revoke his power of attorney. That'll take 48 hours. In the meantime, I need you to document everything. Any interactions with your son. Record conversations if you can. Ohio's a one-party consent state, so that's legal. Get evidence. You want me to spy on my own son? I want you to protect yourself, Mr. Williams, and I want to recover your money. I drove home in a daze. Maple Street looked the same. My house looked the same. Same vinyl siding, same shutters, same flower beds Sarah had planted that I still maintained. Same everything. But I wasn't the same. Something had fractured inside me during those meetings. David called that evening. Hey, Dad. Christine and I are thinking of stopping by tomorrow. Want to bring you some of that lasagna you like? My son's voice. The same voice that had called me from college, homesick. The same voice that had asked me to walk him through changing his car's oil. The same voice that had broken when he'd called to say Sarah had passed. Sure, son. That'd be nice. Great. See you around 6. I hung up and stared at my phone for a long time. Then I went to my computer, ordered a small recording device. Express delivery. I'd have it by tomorrow morning. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, Sarah's side still empty, and thought about everything. Every interaction with David over the past year. The way he'd insisted on helping me with my finances. The way he'd encouraged me to stop looking at paper statements. The way Christine always seemed to steer conversations toward money. Toward what I planned to do with the house. Toward my health. "You should really get that heart checked, Robert," she'd said just 2 weeks ago. My aunt ignored chest pains and ended up in the ICU. I hadn't had chest pains. I'd mentioned feeling tired after gardening. Just tired. Normal tired for a 62-year-old man working in his yard. The recording device arrived at 10 the next morning. Small thing. Fit in my shirt pocket. I tested it. Worked perfectly. Clear audio. David and Christine arrived at 6:03. I heard their car in the driveway. Watched through the front window as they got out. David carrying a glass dish covered in foil. Christine with her purse and a bottle of wine. They looked like a normal couple, bringing dinner to an aging father. They looked like people I loved. "Dad!" David's hug felt the same as always. Warm, solid. I hugged him back and hated myself for the recorder in my pocket. We ate lasagna at the kitchen table, talked about weather, about the Buckeyes' chances next season, about Christine's job at the insurance company. Normal conversation. Comfortable. Except I kept hearing Mitchell Pearson's voice in my head. $500,000 is a lot of money. After dinner, David started loading the dishwasher. "Dad, you go relax. We've got this." I moved to the living room, sat in my recliner. But I left the kitchen door slightly open, and the recorder was running. Their voices drifted through. "Did you see how tired he looked?" Christine, her voice low. "Yeah, the medication's working then." My blood went cold. "How much longer do you think?" Christine again. "Dr. Mills said it's hard to predict. Could be months. Could be faster if we adjust the dosage. We need to be careful, David. If anyone notices." "No one's going to notice. He's 62, with a heart condition. People die. It happens. And we've been so supportive, so helpful. Everyone knows what dedicated kids we are." I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. The recliner suddenly felt like a trap. "What about the accounts?" Christine asked. "Pearson hasn't called?" "Pearson won't call. Dad doesn't even look at statements anymore. By the time anyone figures it out, it won't matter. We'll have the life insurance payout, the rest of the retirement money, and this house. $750,000 total. Easy. Maybe more. And the will? Still names me as sole beneficiary. I had him sign a new one 6 months ago. He didn't even read it, just signed where I pointed." Laughter. They were laughing. "I've got to hand it to you, babe. This plan was brilliant. No one suspects loving children helping their poor widowed father. We've earned this. Do you know how many dinners I've sat through? How many times I've had to listen to him talk about Mom, about the old days? It's exhausting, but it'll be worth it. Another few months, and we're set for life." I must have made a sound, some involuntary noise of horror, because suddenly the kitchen went quiet. "Dad, you okay in there?" I forced my voice steady. "Fine. Just dozed off for a second. We should get going anyway. Early morning tomorrow." David appeared in the doorway, smiled at me. That same smile I'd seen his whole life. "Love you, Dad." "Love you too, son." They left. I waited until their car disappeared down the street. Then I went to the bathroom and vomited. The medication. They'd mentioned medication. I went to my bathroom cabinet. The pill organizer David had set up. 7 days worth of pills. But which ones were supposed to be there? I took photos of everything. Every pill, every bottle. I called James Brennan's emergency line. I got it. I recorded it. Everything. Don't touch anything in that house they might have tampered with. Don't eat anything they've brought. Don't take any medication. Can you stay somewhere else tonight? Yes. I have a friend, Tom, from the plant. Go there. Now. Bring the recording device. I'll meet you tomorrow morning. We're going to the police. I packed a bag. Grabbed my important documents. The recording device. Called Tom from the car. "Rob? What's wrong? I need a place to stay. Can't explain right now. But I need help. Get over here." Tom didn't ask questions that night. Just made up the guest room. Poured me a bourbon. Sat with me while I stared at nothing. The next morning, I met James Brennan at the Westerville Police Department. We spent 4 hours there. Told the whole story. Played the recording. showed the bank statements, the life insurance policy, the withdrawal records. Detective Sarah Morrison listened to everything. Her face remained professionally neutral throughout, but I saw her jaw tighten when they played Christine's laughter on the recording. "Mr. Williams, we're going to need to send your medications for analysis. If what they said is true about tampering with your heart medication, that's attempted murder. Combined with the financial fraud, we're looking at multiple felonies. What happens now? Now we investigate. Quietly, we'll need a few days to build a solid case. Can you continue staying away from your home?" "Yes." "Good. Don't contact your son. Don't let him know you're suspicious. We need to catch them before they can destroy evidence or flee." The next 3 days were the longest of my life. I stayed at Tom's house. Tom, bless him, took vacation days to keep me company. We watched television, played cards, didn't talk about it unless I wanted to, which I didn't. My phone rang several times. David calling. I didn't answer. Sent texts instead. "Not feeling well. Need to rest. Talk soon." On the 4th day, Detective Morrison called. "We have enough. We're executing a warrant on your son's house this afternoon. We'll need you to come to the station." I arrived at 3. By 3:30, David and Christine were being brought in. I watched through a one-way mirror as they were processed. Mugshots, fingerprints, the whole procedure. David looked confused at first, then angry. Then, when they told him what evidence they had, terrified. The toxicology report on my medications had come back. They'd been laced with a calcium channel blocker, something that would slowly weaken my heart, cause the symptoms of worsening heart disease, eventually lead to cardiac arrest that would look natural for a man my age with pre-existing conditions. They found empty bottles in David's house. Found emails between him and Christine discussing the schedule. Found the forged will. Found records of the withdrawal transfers. Found everything. James Brennan was brilliant in the weeks that followed. Got everything frozen, got restraining orders, got court orders. Within a month, we'd recovered most of the stolen money. The life insurance policy was voided. The forged will was thrown out. David and Christine were charged with attempted murder, wire fraud, elder abuse, and forgery. Their bail was set at $500,000 each. They couldn't make it. They're still in county jail, awaiting trial. I haven't spoken to my son since that day in my living room when he told me he loved me. The prosecutor says the trial will probably be next spring. I'll have to testify. Look at him across a courtroom. I don't know if I can do that, but I will. Because, as James Brennan reminded me, this isn't just about me. If they could do this to their own father, what might they do to someone else? I moved back into my house after they arrested David and Christine. Tom helped me change the locks, clean out anything they'd ever touched. It felt like an exorcism. The house is mine again. The money is mine again. My life is mine again. But something broke that I don't think can be fixed. I look at photographs of David as a child, and I can't reconcile that laughing boy with the man who planned to kill me. Sarah's sister says I should try to forgive, that he's still my son. That family is everything. But I remember Christine's laughter. I remember David saying, "We've earned this." I remember the pills that were slowly poisoning me. And I remember something else. Something Mitchell Pearson said in that first meeting. The most terrifying thing isn't the fraud. It's the patience. They were willing to wait, to slowly kill you while smiling to your face. That takes a special kind of cold. He was right. I'm 62 years old. I thought I'd spend my retirement with grandchildren, with family dinners, with someone to leave this house to, someone who'd remember Sarah and keep her gardens growing. Instead, I spend my evenings alone. But here's what I've learned. Alone isn't the same as lonely. Lonely is what I felt when they were here, pretending to love me while counting days until I died. Alone is what I feel now, sitting in my house with all the doors locked, knowing no one is trying to kill me. I prefer alone. Tom visits. The guys from the plant stop by. I've joined a woodworking club at the senior center, building birdhouses. Small things, honest things. No one at that club wants my money. No one there is waiting for me to die. Last week, I got a letter from David's lawyer, a plea for leniency, asking me to consider the years we had together, the love we shared. suggesting that perhaps I'd misunderstood, that surely there was some explanation. I threw it away, because I understand perfectly. I understand that I spent 40 years building a life, building security, building something to leave behind. And I understand that my son saw all of that as nothing more than his inheritance, not something I'd earned, not something I might want to enjoy, just something he was waiting to collect. The trial is in 4 months. The prosecutor says they'll probably offer a plea deal, 15 to 20 years. David would be in his 50s when he gets out. If he gets out, someone asked me if I felt guilty, if I struggled with the idea of my son in prison. I don't. What I feel is relief. Relief that I discovered the truth before those pills stopped my heart. Relief that I'm still here, still breathing, still watching spring arrive in Sarah's gardens. What I feel is grateful. Grateful for Mitchell Pearson, who noticed something wrong and cared enough to call. Grateful for James Brennan, who fought for me. Grateful for Tom, who asked no questions and just offered help. Grateful for strangers who became friends at a woodworking club. What I feel is free. This morning, I woke up in my own bed, made my own coffee, took my own medication, properly prescribed and safe, sat at my kitchen table and watched the sun come up over Maple Street. And I realized something. This house is quiet now, but it's mine. My money is in accounts only I can access. My life is my own. I'm 62 years old, and I get to decide what to do with whatever time I have left. That's not nothing. That's everything. I've started planning a trip. Alaska. Sarah always wanted to go. See the glaciers, the wildlife, the endless summer days. We never went because we were saving money, being responsible, making sure we'd be secure. Well, I'm secure now, and I'm going to Alaska. David's lawyer sent another letter yesterday. This one from David himself. He's sorry, it says. He made mistakes. He loves me. He's still my son. Don't I remember the good times? The camping trips? Teaching him to drive? His graduation? I remember all of it. Every moment, every hug, every I love you, Dad. But I also remember him saying, another few months, and we're set for life. And I remember that silence is sometimes the most powerful response. So I didn't write back. I won't write back. Instead, I'm sitting here in my kitchen, in my house, drinking my coffee, planning my Alaska trip, and watching the morning light stream through windows that overlook gardens Sarah planted 20 years ago. I'm learning that you can love someone your whole life and still walk away when they try to destroy you. That family isn't just about blood. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is save yourself. The woodworking club is building a community garden project next month. Tom's helping. I'm designing the layout. We're planning raised beds for people with mobility issues. Benches. A small fountain. It's not the legacy I thought I'd leave. It's not grandchildren carrying my name. But it's something good, something real, something built with honest hands and honest intentions. And that's enough. In 4 months, I'll sit in a courtroom and tell this story to a jury. I'll look at my son across that room. He'll probably cry. His lawyer will paint him as a troubled man who made mistakes, who's sorry, who deserves a second chance. And maybe he is sorry. Maybe sitting in county jail has given him time to think, to understand what he destroyed. But it doesn't change what he did. It doesn't change that he was willing to kill me. And it doesn't change that I have to live with that knowledge for the rest of my life. So yes, I'll testify. I'll tell the truth. And then I'll come home to this quiet house on Maple Street, and I'll continue building my new life. A life without my son. A life without fear. A life that's mine. The prosecutor told me something last week. She said cases like mine are more common than people think. Adult children exploiting aging parents. Financial abuse. Neglect. Sometimes worse. But most victims don't fight back, she said. Most are too ashamed, too heartbroken. They let it happen. I almost let it happen. I was so grateful for David's attention after Sarah died that I didn't see what was right in front of me. I trusted because that's what parents do. We trust our children. We believe in them, even when we shouldn't. Mitchell Pearson saved my life. A stranger, a financial advisor doing his job, who cared enough to look closer, who made that phone call. I think about that sometimes. How everything hinged on one person noticing something wrong, one person caring enough to act. That's why I'm speaking at the senior center next month, telling my story, warning others, teaching them the signs. Because if it could happen to me, it can happen to anyone. Tom jokes that I've become an activist in my old age. Maybe he's right. But I prefer to think I'm just doing what Mitchell Pearson did for me. Paying attention, caring, speaking up. The sun is higher now. It's almost 8:30. Time to get moving. The woodworking club meets at 10. We're finishing the birdhouses today. Tom's bringing sandwiches for lunch. I close my eyes for a moment. Listen to the silence of my house. My house. No footsteps but mine. No voices but the ones I invite. This is what peace sounds like. And I'll take it over a house full of people waiting for me to die. I'll take it every time.